Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. For my regular YouTube audience, you know what to do next to get the information you need from this video. But for those who are new to my channel, here is some information that's going to help you work best with this video. Firstly, the timestamps for your astrological sign and any other information of importance in this video can be found in the description for this video. Secondly, the dates of energies that are unfolding in the week ahead can be found in the introduction section of this video. Thirdly, the degrees the planets are at and the signs that they are at will also be in the introduction section of this video. Fourthly, any haters and hateful comments on my video will be removed because I want this to be a safe space for everybody to share, and I don't want there to be any trouble. So just like at a bouncer at a nightclub, haters will be ejected. Lastly, this is a general reading. Take it as it resonates with you. How your chart interacts with the energies I'm describing here is going to be different based on the planets you have in your horoscope personally. So for personal readings, see the link in the description if you would like to find out more about how the energies I'm describing are going to be acting with you on a personal level. And here's a little more now about how I work. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello Astro lovers, and welcome to this week's Astro Weather Report. Oh my God, such a hugely energetic week. I'm exhausted just thinking about it. Deep breath everybody, and away we go. So what's happening in the skies this week? Well, firstly, on the 18th of August or the 19th, depending where you are on the planet, we have Mercury in a square with Uranus. So just make sure my planets are all on properly here. Uranus here in Taurus to Mercury over here in in Leo. So Mercury has gone retrograded. I'll put an R for retrograde back into Leo and is currently at 27 degrees. So square aspect to 27 degrees, Uranus there, 18th or 19th of August, depending where you are in the world. And again, breathe, my friends, because this transit can cause nervous reactions like anxiety, worry, and tension. So it's a really good idea to have a plan to navigate through the energy, through maybe you might like to use breath work to help calm you, being in nature. Movement is always a good thing to do whenever Mercury is being affected, because Mercury governs the two mutable signs and is very much a restless planet. So bike riding, skiing, taking a walk, going for a drive in the country, these are all things that can help soothe Mercury. And also even taking a little bit of magnesium is a really good strategy because Uranus is involved as well. And if we're ever having trouble with Uranian transits, magnesium is the antidote. So Mercury is news. Mercury is news, and so we can expect surprising news or unexpected events that might upset the apple cart around the 18th, 19th of August. So Uranus is anything shocking and sudden. Mercury is news. Boom. This is why we can expect surprising news, unexpected news, and unexpected events. So it feels also like life is rapidly speeding up, a bit like a whirlwind kind of energy. And for many of us on Earth, life really is speeding up. The rate of discovery of new celestial bodies corresponding to our level of consciousness as humanity is just increasing at a rate of knots, thanks to telescopes and discoveries of deep space objects and so forth. As above, so below is the old Hermetic principle there. So yes, it can feel like life is speeding up because of the rapid rise in consciousness that's happening on the planet, but also this energy on this day is actually a bit like a runaway wagon out of control. Things just feel like they're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour for us. Forewarned, forearmed with that one. Now, Mercury is retrograde, and because of this aspect from the higher octave of Mercury, which is Uranus, we just re-emphasize the fact that you should not buy any new devices. Try to avoid sending any super important emails, signing contracts, those sorts of things. If you can, getting devices repaired and that kind of stuff, avoid it around the 18th, 19th of August, if you possibly can. If you can bide your time until Mercury retrograde is over, fantastic. If you can't wait that long, then at least wait a day or two when these guys are no longer in a square aspect. But I do have to say that not all squares are challenging for everyone. Some people might find that they are well and truly able to think outside the box in a manner that gives them spontaneous solutions, originality, problem solving, and a new twist on an issue that they've been dealing with. So that's some of the blessing that can come from this aspect. Now, also, get my words out, on the 18th and 19th of August, we've got quite obviously here the Sun in a conjunction with Mercury retrograding. But this is coming a little later on in the day. So first we have this aspect between Mercury and Uranus, and then as Mercury keeps retrograding, it's going to make a conjunction with the Sun at 26 degrees of Leo. Again, depends where you are in the world, the exact date of when this is occurring. You can Google such things, but the 18th of August, generally speaking, in the USA, and the 19th of August in other parts of the world is generally how these things unfold. So what does it mean to have Sun in a conjunction with a retrograde Mercury? Well, this is what we call cazimi. Not when Mercury is direct and conjunct the Sun. There is a huge difference, and a huge difference in effect as well. Mercury cazimi, I'll talk about that in a minute, but this is a really good energy, again, to be tapping into this Mercury restlessness, like indulging your Mercury restlessness. Take a short trip, go for a walk around the block, go visit a neighboring town and have a cup of coffee in one of their cafes. Movement under Mercury cazimi or any heavy Mercury influence is a really good thing to do. When Mercury is cazimi, he's before the king of the solar system. So I'll try and explain with the astro wheel, which is a very helpful educational tool, obviously. Mercury, when he's retrograde, sits here. This is our representation, our vantage point, the logo for Guiding Star Astrology here. That's Earth. And we're looking out into the solar system at all these different facets. And we're looking out, and what happens is Mercury is before the Sun. We look out and see Mercury first when Mercury is retrograding. When Mercury is not retrograde, my friends, Mercury goes behind the Sun. When Mercury is moving in direct motion in a conjunction at the same degree as the Sun, he is behind. So when we look out from the Earth at the Sun, or towards Mercury and the Sun conjunction. It is the Sun that we see, and Mercury's energy is lost in the glare of the Sun. We cannot receive Mercury's rays because they are lost in the glare of the Sun. That is combust Mercury. You'll hear so many astrologers telling you it's cazimi. It is not. Cazimi only occurs when we have Mercury or one of the other planets like Venus, actually, and some might consider the moon as well, in a retrograde conjunction. Moon doesn't retrograde, but that's something I'll talk about with the not Royal Stars Academy. I do talk about it there, but with my Patreon family, we discuss this and moon phases every month. So put the moon aside. Mercury and Venus are the only two that will conjunct cazimi with the Sun by the fact that they go retrograde in front of the Sun. The other planets do not. There is no cazimi for any other planets. Moon maybe, but nothing else. So what does it mean to have Mercury cazimi? And for those who are interested in understanding this concept at a greater depth, the Royal Stars Academy does go into this. So you can join me there, learn all sorts of fascinating, enabling, powerful astrology that you can use for your own edification, or simply, to help you and your family and your friends, or if you want to get certified, you can do that too. So Mercury's before the king of the solar system, and therefore we get an energized Mercury influence. Our thinking is pacey and fast. It's adaptable. We're curious. We want to gather information, and the universe is going to give it to us. This is a powerful conjunction, an empowered Mercury. So whatever Mercury represents for you in your chart, maybe it rules relationships, maybe it rules career, maybe it rules money, whatever it rules is going to be enhanced by this cazimi process, this cazimi energy. Yes, we still have this square from Uranus playing out as well. Take that on board. But the personal things that Mercury rules in your chart, the governance of particular houses, is going to be enhanced and blessed by the cazimi. So also because Mercury is retrograde during this cazimi, we can expect socialization with people from our past, and it should bring a smile to our lips. You know, we might be revisiting times of long ago and going back over old interactions, old communications, old memories that bring us a great deal of happiness. So this is some of the influence of Mercury and its aspects and so forth on the 18th and 19th of August. Also on the 18th and 19th of August, one of the most busy times of the week ahead is the Venus square to Jupiter at 17 degrees. So here is Jupiter down here with Gemini, 17 degrees of Gemini, making a square aspect, so many squares, to Venus at 17 degrees of Virgo. Now these two planets give us a lighter hard aspect than the malefics do when they square. So malefic planets are the Sun, the waning moon, the Mars and Saturn in the visible planets, and the benefic planets are Jupiter, Venus, and depending on who Mercury is sitting with, Mercury can be a benefic, and the waxing moon as well. So that's for those who don't know malefics and benefics. So Jupiter and Venus are considered to be wonderful benefics, giving us blessing and expansion and abundance and so forth. But a square aspect is a difficult aspect. The good news, like I've just said, is that these two planets give us sort of a lighter feeling with this hard aspect than a malefic planet in square aspect would do. So it's a great transit for good times, for having fun. It's an energy of generosity and optimism. The only thing we need to really be conscious of is that because Jupiter's involved in this in a hard aspect, it means we can really overdo it, take things too far, overblow things. So Venus is pleasures and luxuries and fashion and food, and Jupiter is extravagance. So, you know, you go and out for high tea with the girlfriends and you eat more cake than you should, you come home feeling like Team Tantesi. You go out shopping. Maybe you go to the boating, camping, fishing shop with the guys and you come back with more stuff than you need and you're piling it into your garage and you're like, my God, what was I thinking? I can barely fit everything I've got in here already. We need to just be conscious of overdoing it. Make sure you know what's in your bank account, my friends, before you go spending, and also watching your waistline is a very helpful thing to do as well. But socializing and friendships flourish, so relax, just enjoy the beautiful connections in your life on the 18th, 19th of August. Now, on the 19th of August, we also have, telling you it's a busy week, we have the full moon in Aquarius. Now, my God, here is Aquarius down here, full moon being made to the sun. This is huge. This is probably the most influential full moon of the year. It's really full on. And I break it down for my Patreon family. All signs break down. If you've got planets conjunct this moon at 27 degrees of Aquarius, I talk about it all on the Patreon channel. Also, the nakshatras or the lunar mansion, I talk about that. I talk about the aspects. I talk about out of bounds. We cover the whole gamut. We really go deep with our moon forecasts every month in the not the Royal Stars Academy, the Patreon family. So I just encourage you, if you want to know more about this full moon and all it means and all that's playing out because of this full moon energy on the 19th of August, come and join me at the Patreon family. The link's in the description below. Also on the 19th of August at 17 degrees is an opposition from Venus to Saturn. My God, look at all this stuff. What a week, my friends. That's an awkward line, isn't it? But you can see this is actually making a T-square with Jupiter, a mutable sign T-square. Gemini, Virgo ruled by Mercury, retrograding at the moment, and over here, Saturn at 17 degrees ruled by Jupiter. Mars is also playing into this as well. Mars and Jupiter had their conjunction last week. So we are feeling Mars involved in this also, I'll just say. Now, let's talk about the opposition though. The opposition with Venus and Saturn. Ouch. Now, despite these two being friends in Vedic astrology, it still smarts when they are in this standoff. So this is a time, again, we're on the 19th of August, when we might feel the heavy weight of responsibility with a significant other. Venus is our relationships and Saturn is responsibility and duty. We might feel emotionally distant and that might make our relationships uncomfortable. Our feelings get hurt. We are sensitive and our toes get trodden on. We are just highly sensitized to relational interactions that are more heavy and more responsible, needing more responsibility and maturity to handle. We can even experience financial losses because of the actions of another person in our life when we have an opposition from Venus to Saturn. It's yucky stuff. I'm not denying this. There's challenges. But no matter what happens on the 19th of August, you are going to be required to be more responsible with your relationships and more responsible with your money. So it's a time to be strong, be stoic, and be mature as you deal with these things. Now, also, I mentioned that this is also a T-square, the way we can handle the tension, energetic tension, because we are energetic receptors. That's what we are as human beings. And the planets are giving energy out. It could be magnetic energy, could be all sorts of other energies that we maybe haven't even learned how to measure yet, but we're feeling these energies. The tension of a T-square is released through the opposition. And so it's through Sagittarius that we can sort of get a bit of breathe out. So what does Sagittarius rule in your chart? What realm of the chart is your Sagittarius in? That's where you can focus your attention, focus your energy to give you some balance on the 19th of August, because there's just so much happening over this side of the chart, as you can see. There's not a lot happening over here. That is your way out. That's your release valve. So it pays to know your astrology so you can handle these things to the best of your ability. Okay, so Sagittarius is the release valve, okay? But the sun is also then going to be making a square to Uranus again. Guess what day? The 19th of August, once again. This is a time for marching to the beat of your own drum, my friends. It's a time when we're like, we don't want to let anybody tell us what to do, what to think, how to behave, or most of all, how to express ourselves. So it's a very autonomous energy. In fact, these two big guns, Uranus and the sun, rule opposite signs. Uranus rules Aquarius and Leo, the sun rules Leo. And so that is where we get this sort of tension, because they are opposite energies, but they're both autonomous. And the trouble with this square aspect is all this autonomy can rub people the wrong way on the 19th of August. We can be pressing people's buttons and we don't even know it. Of course, that then exacerbates relationships, Venus opposite Saturn, the tension in communications with Mercury square to Uranus. I mean, it's just a big energy. So somehow, life in the material realm this week is going to require a balance of both belonging and fitting in and embracing our individuality. And that's a very difficult tightrope to walk. Now, the sun, as I said, rules Leo, and Uranus, its opposite sign, in Aquarius. So these two planets, being all about autonomy and individuality and uniqueness, they're very much at odds in the astrological world. And so you might encounter that, as above, so below, in the world. There might be sudden outbursts and frustrations, and people feel like they're stuck and they can't break free from their circumstances, and it causes all sorts of mayhem in their lives that then, flows on to you. We know when a volcano explodes, it doesn't just affect the volcano, it affects people hundreds of miles away. That's the kind of thing that's going on. People are struggling under this energy, and it might flow on to you. You might be struggling, and you might be impacting everybody else in your sphere as well. Now, a hard aspect like this square, tinged in this case with a very restless, uncertain energy of Uranus, it can only be mitigated, my friends, with self-awareness, with non-judgment, with flexibility, and acceptance of the differing journeys of all human beings. So please keep those things in mind. Write them down on a sticky note and put them on your mirror. Do not judge today. Be self-aware today. Go with the flow today. Be flexible today. Accept the differences between people today. We want to leave Karenism at the door, my friends. This is not an easy energy, and with all the other things playing into the 19th, 18th, 19th of August, deep breaths are definitely required, okay? Also on the 19th of August, it just goes on and on. We've got the Jupiter square to Saturn exact. Now, I talked about this in last week's video, so I'm not going to talk about it here. If you would like to know how that is playing out, how to work with it, how to understand that energy better, check out last week's Astro Weather Report, because it has everything to say about the square, the big gun square between Jupiter and Saturn. It's a massive day, the 19th, 18th, 19th of August, no doubt about it. And then we move on. Then the energy finishes up from the 19th of August, and the next time we have a significant energy is on the 22nd of August, when the sun moves into Virgo. This is a time when we begin 30 days of helpful, service-oriented energy. And if there's a time during the year for feeling more calm, more organized, and more responsible, it's when the sun is in Virgo. So maybe that's just the antidote we need after such a whirlwind of energy on the 19th. We get our practical hats on. We look for ways to heal imbalances in our world. We support people around us with the love language acts of service wherever we can. What a great love language that actually is too. With all energies, though, as you know, in everything there is shadow and light, yin and yang. There's a shadow side to this one as well. And Sun in Virgo expresses this through nervousness, worry, perfectionism, and criticism, both of yourself and of other people around you. So knowledge is power. This is how we understand what's going on, and we can pull ourselves up before we go too deep with any of these things. So this sour expression of Virgo energy can be mitigated by focusing on some higher manifestations, using this energy for good. Cleaning is one of them. Get into those cupboards. Spring cleaning is on for young and old now in the southern hemisphere, because it is actually moving into spring. But for those in the northern hemisphere, there's no one stopping you from doing some autumn cleaning as well. Reorganize the pantry, clean out the cupboards, weed the garden, wash the windows. Cleaning is actually a higher use of Virgo energy. Organization. Tidy that office, create a new routine, set an exercise schedule, be organized, be structured. Bring creative practicality into your world. You might like to sew some new curtains or design a new website, cook a special thank you cake, do something useful with your creative juices when the sun moves into Virgo. Remember, these things and service, helping, healing, fixing, are always the antidote to the more negative Virgo expressions. And we notice this never more than when the sun moves through Virgo every year. Finally, the final energy of the week is happening also on the 22nd of August. And we're going to have Venus in a square exact to Mars. You'll probably be feeling this all week long because these guys are all tangoing very close to one another. But Venus will exactly square Mars at 21 degrees. Now, just like the thunderbolt rends things in two, so too does this energy crack open our relationship issues. A square aspect between the two lovers, a hard aspect between the two lovers of the sky. That's what it does. Now, you might be more upfront with your concerns in relationship. You might say it as it is and lay it on the table, but invariably it can lead to conflict and emotional hurts, jealousies, irritations. Forewarned, forearmed, my friends. Don't think that compromising is going to put a band-aid over the wound either. We're obviously under this heady energy, and of course you've got Jupiter exacerbating the Mars energy. We're just not in the mood to back down with this. So be ready for some arguments, some explosions. It might help clear the air. That could be a positive. But our emotions are running high. We have more passion also at our disposal. Be aware. Awareness is our power, basically. So why not use this passionate energy for good by refreshing your decor? Venus rules the style of your home, the cushions on the bed, the curtains on the window. You could use this energy and put your passion into redecorating, or get proactive about how you're using your money. Do a new budget. Especially with Venus in Virgo and the sun having moved in there too by this time, you'll be much more able to, get enthusiastic about doing the taxes or organizing your budget. Another thing you can do is perhaps put lots more enthusiasm and drive into fulfilling your desires. Venus is desire and Mars is passion. When those two interact, you can really take some great strides forward in fulfilling what you long for. So my friends, what a week. Okay, while we catch our breath after that, we'll get ready to look at the all signs breakdown, and I'm going to focus, what on earth do you focus on with so much going on? I'm actually going to look at the square between Uranus and the sun. This is happening on obviously the 19th of August, depending where you are in the world. And it's happening at 27 degrees of two fixed signs, Leo and Taurus. I feel like this is going to be the predominant energy. It happens every year. In fact, it happens twice a year that we get this energy. So it's not unfamiliar to us. But it is going to be very strong because Uranus is the further outer planet than any of the others in these interactions this week. Uranus sits out further in the solar system than Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, the moon, everything else. So Pluto and Neptune are the only planets that are beyond Uranus. So when a planet is further out, we feel its influence much more strongly. It really packs a punch, especially when it's interacting with a personal planet like the Sun. And that's why I've chosen to talk about this energy this week. It will bring us sudden, unpredictable changes that are beyond our control. There'll be unconventional people that might cause problems in our life. We're going to hunger for more independence, and yet we might feel stuck in the status quo. We're going to feel restless and impatient because we want to do things our way and on our terms. So there's problems with autonomy, and there can equally be problems with bosses and people in authority over us. Some people might walk away from a career or a relationship because of this energy this week. There's a danger from acting impulsively and then regretting our choices in the long term. We need to be careful and forewarned, forearmed, which is why I choose to talk about some of these heavy energies so that we can use them to the best of their usefulness, and also be aware of what's coming so that we can act with consciousness. We need to think carefully before making decisions under this energy. We need to act with more responsibility so we have less regret, because hasty behavior can result in mistakes being made. Relationships can suffer. We can, particularly women might be affected by this, by the men in their life, of course. Being aware of that is very helpful. You might experience problems with your father. He might be behaving very erratically. We can also be the good effect of this is that our consciousness can expand, but usually it comes through some sort of unusual experience. Some people might receive important astrological, psychic, or philosophical knowledge and downloads. That's another of the positive energies here. Not everything is bad. There's shadow and light in everything. It's a time of change, though, big change, unconventional behavior as we pursue our freedom and our independence. So let's dive in now and have a look at how it's affecting all signs this week. All right, let's begin with Leos. Lovely Leos, you get to go first. Now, the reason you get to go first is that this personal planet, the Sun, is where the square from Uranus will be expressing. And this makes it your first house of your Leo rising, sun, or moon. This is going to perhaps affect your self-esteem and willpower, Leo. Why? Because I've just explained it's going to be expressing through the first house of you, and it's going to make you again want to feel more autonomous. You already are, Leo. If you have Leo in your chart, you like your independence. You like your, there's a self-confidence there that you know what's beautiful. You know what's wise. That there's this knowingness with Leo energy. And so this square from Uranus is going to give you more of that, more autonomy, more I know who I am, I know what I believe, I know where I'm going and what I'm doing. It's this self-esteem and willpower that is expanded, but we need to, as I said in the introduction, be very careful that it doesn't rub other people the wrong way. As a Leo sun person myself, sometimes I feel like I come off far more arrogant than I intend to. Because Leo is a confident energy. Leo is the king. Leo is a leader. Leo likes to shine. And sometimes we feel like we've sucked up all the limelight. And again, this is an energy where that can happen. We can feel like, we've taken the lead and run with it. We've run off with the mic and we're just like hogging the show. It's not the case. It might sometimes come across that way to other people, but really what is going on is that Uranus is pushing the buttons of needing our autonomy and independence and doing things our way. So be conscious of how you use this energy, but use it to your advantage, Leo. You're inclined this way anyway with great independence. You can perhaps get some really amazing downloads, psychic downloads, information, wisdom that comes to you. Trust your intuition, trust your gut, but just be careful about treading on other people's toes. So for Leo people, there's a very strong potential that your consciousness can really expand through this energy on the 19th of August. And usually from an experience that you won't expect, that you won't see coming. You might find that your whole world just increases. There's a growth, there's an abundance, there's not just like material growth and abundance. I'm talking about your consciousness can grow, and you can get insights and eureka, aha moments that are the result of this energy, of course. You might receive some philosophical or psychic downloads. I would just suggest, Leo, get into the magnesium. Get stuck in now before this energy unfolds. Hopefully you're watching this video before the 19th of August. Because Leo is connected to things like the heart and the spine, and Uranus in a square aspect with the sun can cause heart palpitations and spasms that can be mitigated by magnesium salts. So get into it. I prefer myself to have the unrefined magnesium, the granular form, and get it to dissolve in like a glass of water or a cup of coffee or something like that. You might choose to take tablets, whatever works for you, but I would suggest that this is happening in the house to do with your body, so it's a good idea to take care of your body in advance. You can't have too much of this stuff, of magnesium. Your body will just get rid of it if you have overload, and wee it out. So take whatever is recommended on the bottle as a dose, and set yourself up for navigating this day well physically. Remember, I said in the introduction, you'll have to act with responsibility, you'll have less regret. And so try and infuse that in your character. You may be more, unconsciously inclined to be stubborn and willful because of this energy, but if you're aware, that need not impede upon your life. Some of you Leo people might feel a bit stuck. This is a square between two fixed signs after all. You might feel stuck. You might feel, tied to where you are and you can't break free. And that's annoying. And so there can be this restless, frustrated energy because you just want to break out and live life your way and do things on your terms. And it feels like everything is conspiring against you. That is a really shitty energy. I do not like that energy myself. So forewarned, forearmed, maybe, again, we were talking earlier in the introduction about Mercury in a square also to Uranus. Take a drive, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, get out however you can. Sort of indulge that restless energy that wants change, whatever way you can, particularly in ways that affect your body, that get you having to breathe a little harder and your heart rate, a bit higher. Use that energy to sort of not break free of the energy, because it's hard to break free of this energy, but to sort of direct it into something else that will help you feel better. So one other thing, hasty behavior, you're going to be wanting to make some big decisions, Leo, to change your life, but if you rush in because you're feeling stuck, because you're feeling like life is holding you back, you may regret things down the track. So take your time, get some counsel. You might not want counsel or wisdom from other people, because I can decide for myself, thanks very much. I don't need anyone else to tell me what to do. It's very much a trait of this energy. But if you can get some counsel from somebody that you respect and admire, whose wisdom you appreciate, you can make wiser, better choices. So that's what I'm seeing for our lovely Leo friends that might be unfolding for them. Expect the unexpected. Expect some surprises to come into your life. There might be a completely different path in life that opens up for you as a result of what happens for you on the 19th of August. Hopefully, in the long run, it helps you break free, develop your independence, and set you on a path of autonomy that you desire. I pray that's the case for many of our Leos, but be prepared for any eventuality. All right, thank you, lovely Leos. Now moving on to our very wonderful Virgos. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon. This is happening on the 27th, not the 27th, the 19th of August. At 27 degrees, we have a square from Uranus in fixed sign Taurus to Leo in fixed sign, the Sun in fixed sign Leo. So this is playing out through the personal planet, the Sun, in the 12th house. This is the house in Vedic astrology of debts and expenses. And Uranus is sudden things. So it could be that there is some kind of debt or expense that you're wanting to break free from, and yet you feel that you can't. This is an energy of I need to be responsible for myself, I need to be self-sufficient, I need my independence, and yet I'm tied to this mortgage. I'm tied to this responsibility for these children and their school fee debts, or whatever it is that you're paying expenses and debts for. You're going to feel a bit heavy with them, a bit suffocated by them, a bit tied down because of them. So expect that might be the case, Virgo. And, maybe have something in mind to sort of navigate that feeling. We all get that feeling from time to time. We wish we were free of financial burden. And, of course, in Vedic astrology, the 12th house has to do with the financial debts and expenses and burdens that sometimes can't be avoided in life. So, have some mechanism for mitigating that. Whatever makes you feel better, whatever makes you sort of see reality. Okay, this is going to pay off in the end when my kids get a really good education, or this is going to pay off in the end when I finally make my final payment on my mortgage and I own my house outright. It's going to set me up for the rest of my life and my retirement years. Fantastic. I'm using those as examples. I know I'll probably get comments in the comments section saying, well, I can't afford a house, and my kids can't afford a school, whatever. I'm using those as examples of expenses and debts. It's different, but depending on your own circumstances, what your expenses and debts are, they are only examples. Consider your life, consider what your big debts and big expenses are, and realize that what I'm saying here is that you might feel a bit heavy about those, a bit stuck because of those debts and expenses. Okay. But you will feel, a restlessness and an impatience to break free of those things. There can also be some very significant for Virgo people, some big psychic downloads. And this might come in the form of unusual experiences, unusual erratic dreams. You might, have really unexpected dreams, particularly about a male figure in your life. The Sun is the male figure in the house of our night dreams, like what we dream about at night. And Uranus is giving this sort of psychic and astrological and philosophical information. So it could be some of you Virgo people might have a dream where you see your deceased grandfather or father or something, and he's telling you something. He's got a message from the divine. Pay attention to that. This is actually an important and powerful combination for such things. And so something like that may occur, or it could just be that some sort of unusual occurrence happens in your day-to-day experience, where you get an aha epiphany moment, an enlightenment moment that can come from this. Not all squares give just horrible energy. There can be some benefit that comes from energy, square energies as well, and this is one of them. This is a time of change in the pursuit of freedom. And a lot of this is going to come from something that's been going on behind the scenes that you probably haven't known about. 12th house is what's hidden from us. And so there might have been something happening either in the political scene, in a family circumstance. There might have been something happening at work. It could have been anywhere, but it'll be out of your consciousness area. You won't know about it, that there's change coming that's going to allow more freedom. And it might come to the fore. You might be made aware of it this week with this energy. So the behind the scenes activity that's been going on that you haven't known about can come out this week, and it can instigate change that ultimately is going to lead to greater moksha for you. This is a moksha house, a liberation, a freedom house. So there can be a lot of change coming from a hidden thing, but it can also be change that comes from a frustrating thing as well. You're so frustrated with something that you've just got to escape it, so you put some mechanisms in place to do that. I've talked about messages in your sleep from deceased people, or even it could be celebrities. The sun is celebrities. So, you know, Jim Carrey might come to you in your sleep with a message that you need to do X, Y, Z or whatever. So pay attention if that happens for you. There can be a level of spiritual awakening and spiritual insight that comes from these things. For some of you Virgo people, you may be experiencing some kind of bedroom pleasures. And the 12th house is the pleasurable things that we do in private, you know, so sex is obviously one of them, or buying some satin sheets that feel really comfy for, you know, spring and autumn, and maybe some flannelette sheets to feel comfortable in winter and cotton in summer. You might be just doing something pleasurable in the bedroom, 12th house, that is a surprise. You know, you're out shopping, let's say, and lo and behold, I mean, you've got Venus in your first house at the moment, so shopping's big at the moment for Virgo people. You're out shopping and you see, you know, some satin bed linen, and it is cheaper than you've ever seen. The 12th house rules bargains as well as debts and expenses, and you see the cheapest satin sheets you've ever come across. You're like, you'd be a fool to leave them there. How come? Were they mispriced or something? My God. So you grab them up, you buy a set for mum and dad and you know, all your kids and everything, like, because my God, they're so cheap. So bargains in terms of bedroom delights, bedroom pleasures, and also, as I said, there can be some pleasures of a sexual nature in the bedroom as well. The 12th house also rules secret places or hidden places. So places that we don't go on an everyday basis. Now, that said, some people do go to these places on an everyday basis because they might work in those areas. Hospitals, prisons, day spas, places like that. Some people work in those areas usually because they have a strong 12th house association with career. But for the majority of society, when do we go to a hospital? Only when we're sick. We don't go there, you know, as a part of our daily life, not like the supermarket or anything. No, we go there when we're sick. When do we go to prison? Hopefully never, but on occasion for some people. When do we go to a day spa? Well, if we're lucky, we get to go there, you know, maybe once a year for a holiday. Or day spa is a bit different. We might go there once a month to get our nails done or something. But like a resort or a retreat, we might go there once a year for a nice holiday if we're really lucky. So these areas, if you're interacting with any of these kinds of areas around the 19th of August, there could be some surprise that's waiting for you there, something shocking that happens in that realm. You know, if you have to go to the day spa to get your nails done, you know, you might come away with a color that you never ever dreamed you'd have, and oh my God, do I even like this color? I don't know, what was I thinking? Or you could go to hospital, and you know, you might have to have some sort of treatment that you weren't expecting, something sudden, something unexpected, something shocking, Uranus. You know, you might go for a holiday to a resort, and lo and behold, you get you're reading an astrology book on the beach on your holiday resort, which is what I would do, and you get this profound insight. Oh my God, look at this! I didn't realize this about astrology, or some sort of psychic download, psychic knowledge that comes to you, or maybe you do something really quirky and unusual on your retreat. Uranus making an influence there as well could have you, you know, kite sailing, and you've never thought you'd do such a thing in your life. Uranus rules aviation, so just be careful you don't end up sort of floating off into the nether regions. But yes, these are some of the expressions that we could see from this combination. I hope it works out for the better for the majority of our Virgo friends who are watching this. All right, Libra rising, Libra sun, and Libra moon people. For our Librans, you are having a very surprising and sudden experience of Uranus squaring the sun at 27 degrees, and it's expressing through the 11th house Leo on the 19th of August. So this is where the realm of life for you, Libras, where you might experience some sort of sudden, unpredictable change that's beyond your control. And this is the realm of the chart that has to do with friendships, networks, groups of people, clubs that you're involved in. So there might be some sort of surprising outcome in one of those areas of life. You know, maybe a friend says something and you're shocked. Maybe you've been treasurer for the local netball club for years, and somebody says, we think you've done long enough as the treasurer, and you're out, and you're like, what? How did that happen? You know, I thought I was doing a good job. I didn't want to quit. Changes in these circumstances that come as a shock and come as a surprise. Also, because this is a social house, a house of other people in our lives, usually people we know in clubs and groups and networks, somebody a bit left of centre, a bit quirky, a bit unconventional, in a group that you know, in a friendship circle that you're aware of, in a network that you're part of, might stir up some trouble, might act like they're a bit high and mighty, and they're going to tell you how it is. You know, so there could be somebody stirring the pot, causing some trouble in a group, in a friendship circle, in a network, and so forth. They're likely, I would suggest, to be a man, because this expression is solar, the sun. Could be somebody in charge. It could be also just somebody who's really left of center and has a very different perspective to yours. I won't say to the mainstream, because usually alternative perspectives to the mainstream are often worth listening to. This is somebody who just thinks very differently to you, I would say. You'll also feel a bit impatient, I feel, with your social groups and your social connections. When are they going to wake up? When are they going to see what the real truth is? When, we're just frustrated perhaps by this because of this energy with our circle of contacts. There can also be some problems with bosses and authority figures as a result of this energy as well. This is the house of gains and gainfulness that comes from career. And Uranus square to the sun can sometimes trigger us to walk away from a career. So we might be getting a lot of gainfulness from a career, but this energy could make us go, you know what? I've milked this for all I can. I'm out of here. I'm done with this place. I'm done with my boss. I'm done with these people. And we need to be very careful, Libra, that we don't just do that willy-nilly, hastily, without thinking, without considering the effects in the future. So think carefully before making any big decisions in that way, and consider, are you behaving sort of willfully and stubbornly? Is there sort of, not that Librans are prone to this at all, but, are you not regarding the needs and circumstances of the other people that are important in your life in making a choice that you're making? So, because there's a danger of acting impulsively and then regretting your choices down the track. So just be careful. I'm not saying don't walk away from something that's been riling you or making you feel stuck or making you feel out of control. But just do consider, weigh everything up as you do so well, Libra, before you go making any choices and decisions. You will be feeling very open to new paradigms and new realities, Libra. Now, not all squares are horrid for everybody. It all depends what is interacting with this in your own chart, of course, as I say in the introductory piece to every video. You will potentially open up a new paradigm with big money, because in Vedic astrology, the 11th house has to do with big money. And this is usually money that is obtained through your career, through the knowledge that you have in your career, through the skills you've gained from your career. There can be changes that come into your life regarding money, opening up new paradigms because of your particular mastery. So let's say you're an astrologer like myself. Your knowledge of astrology and your knowledge of working with the planetary energies and the timing and so forth might lead you to some sort of gains and rewards that might come as a surprise, or might come out of the blue, or might be a shock in some way. So that can be another way this can express. It need not be all bad. Remember, there's shadow and light in everything. This is also how we communicate, the house of communication with the Father. And so there might be some unexpected and somewhat challenging communications with a father. You might get an email from dad and you're shocked at what it says. You might get an email or a message from somebody about your dad, and it's like it sort of causes your head to spin a bit in some way. So there can be some information, some news received about a father figure. If it's not your actual father, it could be a father figure that might come forward. The 11th house has to do with our desires and ambitions as well. And even in Vedic astrology, it has to do with winnings. So, like I said, surprising, shocking winnings that you didn't expect, but also desires and ambitions, the dreams, the goals that you have. You might suddenly be inspired to do something more independently. And that's why I say you might walk away from a job, because your ambition might be, maybe you worked for local government as a engineer for years, and you're like, I've always dreamed of having my own engineering company. That's my desire, that's my ambition. And you just think, I'm sick of working for government and I'm going to do it. Away I go. Break free, Uranus. So there can be sort of sudden impulse to pursue dreams and ambitions that maybe you didn't have the courage to do before. Major goals that we are more inspired to pursue after and to chase, especially if those goals and dreams have to do with being more autonomous, being more independent. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to pursue those things. In fact, if it's in your chart structure to actually be an independent engineer and have your own consulting service or whatever that you want to do independently, if it's in your chart to do that, then you should. But I want you to do it with a level of maturity, patience, awareness, knowledge, and even if you can, get some advice from a wise person in your life, a benefactor, so that you will never look back and say, damn it, I rushed in too quick, or I didn't think about things deeply enough before I took that action. So don't behave erratically. Be open to this new possibility and the change that it might bring, but act with a good deal of consciousness and wisdom where possible. That's what I'm really feeling for you, my lovely Librans. Alrighty, my beautiful Scorpio, sensational Scorpio. I'm going to try and think of something with for everybody's sign. Sensational Scorpios, lovely Librans, very wonderful Virgos, and lovely Leos. Two lovelies there. Sorry about that. Okay, our sensational Scorpios. This week we're looking at the energy of Uranus square to Leo in fixed signs, meaning it's happening on angles for you as another fixed sign, rising sun or moon Scorpios. And this is happening at 27 degrees. And you'll be feeling it express mostly through Leo, which is your 10th house. And this is happening on the 19th of August. I talk in great depth about it in the introduction. Do check that out. So it's in career that you are going to really be hungry for some sort of autonomy and independence now. Be very careful, because this energy, Scorpio, could see some of you sort of acting impulsively and, giving your boss the bird, take this job and shove it kind of stuff. And you could, if you don't act consciously and carefully with wisdom and patience, you could end up regretting your choices and actions in the long term, because this is an energy for being stubborn and willful. So think carefully before making any big decisions now. Act with responsibility and you'll have less regret. So relationships with bosses can suffer if we're not careful. Bosses can be a bit overbearing under this energy, can make you feel like, life is restricted, like you're tied down and you just want to break free and do things your way. Bosses and people in authority can be causing a lot of that feeling, that sensation in you. Knowledge is power. If you know it's going to happen, then you can be aware and just breathe deeply or take a walk or whatever it is that it's going to help you get through perhaps some frustrating circumstances. You might even, with this energy, it might work in your favor and start triggering you to think about different alternatives, different options for the future. Am I going to stay with this company, or are there other things out there for me? What can I find in terms of jobs online that are going to suit me better, that might give me more freedom, that might give me more autonomy? You might start looking, and that's probably a good thing to utilize this energy for, is just to explore, to see what else is out there, and just get a bearing on whether you're actually in a bad situation with what you're earning and the type of boss you've got and the work you're doing, or not. So use this energy to help explore and uncover certain things. There can be, this is the house of our father's money, there can be sudden shocks regarding the income of your father, you know. Check in, is dad doing okay? Does he have enough money to pay for the electricity bills? And hopefully he's not at home eating cat food or something. You know, check out how dad is doing with his material resources is what I would suggest with this as well. You may be shocked by what you find, Scorpio. That can happen, but you could be shocked in a positive way as well, because Uranus is shocking energy, and this is playing out in the house of the father's money and resources. You might find that dad's got a ton of money in the bank, but he's a bit of a miser when it comes to, you know, looking after himself. So you know, you might be able to help him set up some programs that help him cope better and that kind of thing, depending on how old your dad is and how well he copes with life. Some of us might also find that our father or a father figure in our life is behaving rather erratically, doing sort of crazy stuff, silly stuff, things that aren't quite the norm. Or in a better expression, our dad might just get really interested in astrology, or really interested in esoterica, or be, you know, very doing a deep dive into some sort of alternative research. Might even get some psychic downloads. Your dad might even have a message from spirit for you, is another way that this can express. So very, very interesting. We could also find with this energy that our now it's just coming to me that your work-life balance might be a bit erratic and out of kilter. And if that is the case, Scorpio, try and do alchemy on that situation in your life. Think about, okay, what is causing a disparity between, you know, home life and work life? Why is it not balanced? Why is it not harmonious? And what can you do to change? Alchemize the situation by bringing some awareness and consciousness into the circumstances. What else can we see with this? The pardon me, the 10th house has to do with fame. And of course, Sun is a celebrity, Uranus is sudden. Some of you, Scorpio people, might get a sudden opportunity for fame, you know, 5 minutes of fame, hopefully for better reasons than your breakdancing. I don't know what her chart was, but my God, I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Wouldn't we all love to know? Yes. So fame, hopefully for more than 15 minutes, and hopefully for good breakdancing, not bad. But you may get some sudden, unexpected recognition, notoriety, hopefully respect as well. You know, Sun rules Leo, so it's in a very dignified position. So could be some sort of sudden respect, sudden visibility in the world for good reasons, I feel. And good deeds. This is another of our houses of good deeds in Vedic astrology. So you might experience some reward for the good deeds you've done in the past, or having set things up well, or organized and structured things. It's a house of structure. So if you have structured your life well and organized your life well, there might be rewards for that you receive that come in a sudden way. So that's what I am feeling for most of my Scorpio friends. I'm just trying to sense from spirit if there's anything else that I need to be mentioning. It is an Arthur house in Vedic astrology, which does have to do with wealth. But I feel that the wealth here is going to be more predominantly focused on your father's situation. Some Scorpio people may also find that it has to do with career. There might be some career, like a change in remuneration, or a pay rise for some, or sudden shock to maybe you realize you haven't, because Uranus is shocks and it is a square aspect, you realize that you haven't been getting paid your superannuation and the boss has been diddling you out of something that you deserve, holiday pay or something. So I would suggest maybe, Scorpio, double checking your pay slips and make sure everything is above board and as it should be with this energy. All right, thank you, my sensational Scorpios. Now we're moving on to our superstar Sagittarians. Thank you for being here, Sagittarius. We are looking this week at the energy at play between Uranus and Sun square. I do talk about all the other energies forming in, forming in the chart, as you can see from all the squiggly lines all over the astro wheel. I've talked about everything else in the introduction. You might want to listen to that so that you can be forewarned, forearmed. But our focal point for individuals this week is the square from Uranus in Taurus, fixed sign Taurus, to the Sun in Leo, fixed sign Leo at 27 degrees on the 19th of August. And this is expressing through your 9th house. This is a lucky house in Vedic astrology. This is the house of luck and fortune. In the West, we see it as the 5th house. Both houses are good in Vedic astrology, but this one's the house of luck and fortune in Vedic astrology. And so when we've got a square from Uranus, you could have something lucky happen for you in a sudden way, but there might be an obstacle to navigate first. It's a square aspect, it's hard. So you might feel frustrated and restless and impatient and just want to break free and do things your way. And yet you feel, stuck and tied down to where you are. But how you navigate it might end up giving you some kind of a fortuitous outcome. If you think, no, I'm going to endure, I'm going to persevere and be wise with how I'm dealing with this, and the universe can say, well done. Here's the reward for sticking it out and enduring and being persevering through this rather frustrating transit. That's just one example. So I would suggest that endurance is a key thing to tap into, a key characteristic to tap into. Not because this energy is all about endurance, but rather because this energy is more restless and impatient and willful and stubborn. And so by utilizing our stoicism and endurance, we can perhaps get better results than just sort of, sticking it to the man and chucking things in and, take this job and shove it kind of stuff. All right, that said, it's worth looking at why you might be feeling the way you are. Why are you feeling like you want change? Why is that there? What is it in your world, in your life, that is not conducive to your happiness? Because the 9th house is our life purpose. The 9th house is, what gives life meaning and value. It's our ethics, our beliefs, it's our philosophies. So what is it? Look, do some deep diving. What is it that's going on that's causing frustration? Because that's what this energy is all about. Are you frustrated with your career? Are you frustrated with your relationship? Are you frustrated with your family? Where, if you're feeling frustrated, where is that coming from? Take some time to go philosophical, to ponder, to look deeply. Because when you understand what is at the core of things, if you look beyond the emotion at what is causing the emotion, that's when we can do alchemy. And we can change not necessarily our circumstances around us, but we can change what's going on inside of us. And that's true alchemy. It's altering the polarity of like hate to love, or hot to cold. We change something in the polarity, and that changes the world around us. So I'm talking about Hermeticism and Hermetic principles here, but it's all very philosophical, which is very 9th house. But it's in looking at the reason we feel the way we do that we can understand it better, and we can alchemize it into something that affects us in a better way. So I encourage you to do some writing, some journaling, some introspection under this energy, and you might be really shocked, Uranus, and surprised with what comes up and what is revealed to you and how you can actually change your life to have more meaning and purpose, to align more with your truth, and to feel more free and more liberated from within, which then affects your ability to be free and be liberated externally. So very, probably getting a bit deep and meaningful, and maybe that's the point of the ninth house. The ninth house is also charity and our acts of charity. If you might get an inspiration because of this energy for how to give more charitably, or how to help other people in some way in a charitable act. So listen to any sort of downloads that you get in that regard, because this is an energy for changing our behavior patterns. And, if you've been a bit self-oriented, a bit self-obsessed, this energy can shake things up and get you out of a rut, to start thinking beyond yourself, to move your tent pegs back and start looking at everybody else in the world too, who's struggling, who's having issues, who is feeling downtrodden. So it's an energy that can bring change, hopefully for the better. A more humanitarian and charitable outlook may be the result of this energy. So I feel that as you can tell, Sagittarius, from everything that I've just described, this energy feels to me as if it's exhibiting in your life through many philosophical avenues rather than, touchable, tangible, real world experiences. That's probably more what you're going to get out of this particular energy. For some people, the ninth house has to do with visa matters and immigration. Now, not everybody's immigrating, not everybody's dealing with a visa situation, but those of you who are might get quite a surprise, or there might usually a surprise of a negative, like an obstacle to overcome or a problem to resolve. Uranus is in the 6th house. Visas and so forth are seen through the 9th. So then this energy interacting between the two might mean you need to deal with a problem to sort out a visa. You need to perhaps do a bit of paperwork and so forth to work out your immigration. So that's a tangible world expression, but obviously not common to everybody. Not everybody's immigrating. It is also the house of our grandchildren or our second life partner, so they might be behaving erratically, they might be being willful and stubborn, they might be the ones who are, chucking a tantrum because they feel that their freedom and their liberty has been impeded. You probably also need to be careful, Sagittarius, because relationships tend to suffer under this combination of energies as well. And, not that unless there's things happening in your personal chart, you may lose a partner, like the divorce or whatever, but that's very unlikely for most people just from the external transit. But there can be a bit of animosity. We might tread on one another's toes and offend partners and so forth. So be sensitive, be steady, be careful. As much as you can. This is also in Vedic astrology the house of the father. The 9th house is considered to be the house of the father in Vedic astrology. Western astrology, it's the 10th house. So for those of us who are aligning with sort of the more Vedic perspective, your father could be behaving erratically and stubbornly and, putting his foot down and being like, chucking a tanty like a little 2-year-old, frustrated with something, angry with something, and just that could come as a complete shock to you, a surprise to you. Uranus, you didn't think Dad would ever behave like that. He might do something that really sort of rocks your world in some way. He might be behaving erratically as well. But this is the final thing I want to say for Sagittarius is that this is an energy that brings about unconventional change as we pursue freedom. And this is the house of freedom, one of the houses of freedom. So in order to feel free, you might be asked, Sagittarius, to do something a bit out of the ordinary, a bit non-run-of-the-mill, full of, challenge and change, but we know that Sagittarius, you like that sort of thing. So don't be afraid to step up in the pursuit of freedom, because sometimes squares work out well. They are challenging, yes, but the challenge could lead to really good results here, especially as it's expressing through the sun in its own sign. So if you are asked to do something unconventional for the sake of freedom, I'd consider saying yes to that with this energy. Thank you, my lovely Saggies. Moving along now, it is time for Capricorn. Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun or moon. And I've been giving everybody a special name. So our creative Capricorns, we'll call them, under this energy. Okay, this energy this week we're looking at is the square from Uranus to the Sun in fixed sign Taurus and Leo at 27 degrees. This is happening on the 19th of August. Well, Cappy friends, we are experiencing this, if we're Capricorn, Sun, rising or moon, in the 8th house. That's where it's coming out. That's where we're going to be feeling this energy exhibiting. And in the 8th house, it has to do with... in Vedic astrology, our life energy. And of course, with this combination, as I've said in the introduction, it can make us feel like our life force is empowered. It actually can be quite psychically empowering. You might be getting energetic downloads, goosebump experiences, especially with Uranus involved. Your body might be responding to certain stimuli with sort of electricity. That's what goosebumps are. It's our body's electrical system, and the life force energy, we can feel it strongly within us. So pay attention to your body, pay attention to electrical impulses that the body is having. I would also suggest that for our 8th house friends, it's a good idea to up the magnesium as well, because of this focus on life force energy and the electricity of Uranus coming and exhibiting here. This is also the sign of our partner's resources. So if we're married or if we've got a business partner, there might be some changes to our partner's resources that are a bit beyond our control. And for those of us who like to have control over every facet of our material life, that can be problematic. We want to see control in our partner's resources, and we're frustrated because we can't control those things, So we want financial independence, perhaps, Capricorn, and yet you might be feeling tied down to the status quo because of your partner and your partner's financial situation. That can be the case. Forewarned, forearmed, that could be frustrating. You might be impatient and restless to break free from a circumstance materially that your partner is in. So let me use an example. Maybe your partner has had to take out some loans and has gone into debt for certain things, and you are feeling threatened by that, or feeling that there's not as much that your partner can contribute to the running of the household or other needs in the family because they are paying this extra debt. And so you feel frustrated, you feel annoyed or angry. So this is just one example of how what I'm talking about here. You want freedom from a circumstance with your partner's debt, but what can you do about it? How can you break free of that? So forewarned, forearmed, it's not an easy energy. This is the house of the resources of our significant other, and also our business partners. I'll give a scenario there. Maybe you've got a business partner and they've put the business into greater debt for some reason or another, and you are part of that circumstance that now has to pay this greater debt, and you're feeling the pressure. You're feeling under the pump because of the choice of your business partner to do this certain thing. So some of you, because of this circumstance and this energy, might just up and say, I can't do this anymore. I'm out of here. It's done. No more business partnership. I'm dissolving it. My relationship, it's just doing my head in. I cannot do that. You're going to have to handle that debt on your own because I'm not going to be part of it. So there can be some walking away, Capricorn, from some circumstance like that. And if so, I just want to encourage you, Cappies, to think carefully about your actions and your words at this time, because this is an energy for being stubborn and willful. Now, either you might be the stubborn, willful one saying, I'm out of here, I'm done with this, or your partner might be digging the boots in and saying, well, I'm not going to go and sell my business just to pay out this loan so you feel more comfortable. Think again. And obviously money is one of the greatest causes of animosity and crisis and divorce. No surprises that your partner's money is also the house of divorce, because money is one of the biggest causes of splits and relationship demise. It's not the only thing, but it's one of. So there is a danger with this energy of Uranus to the Sun in these houses of acting impulsively and regretting your choices and actions in the long term. So take your time, use your stoicism, Capricorn, you're very good at that. Use your maturity and your patience before you bowl in headlong and then think, oh, damn it, why did I do that down the track? Think carefully before you make big decisions. Act with responsibility and you'll have less regret. It doesn't mean the circumstance changes, but it means your approach to the circumstance and attitude to the circumstance can change. That's partly what alchemy is, if you can change what you can, which is all that you can change is you, and the circumstance may remain, but your response to that stimuli can be what is altered. This energy, Uranus to the Sun, can also open new paradigms and new realities. So there might be an opportunity peeking around the corner for you and your partner with finances. Do open every door and see what's there and see what the universe may have in store to help you find solutions to the problem and to avert crisis, so to speak. What else is this? Now, obviously, I've talked about partnership. What if you don't have a partner? What is this energy all about for you? Well, it's a very sexy house. It's our sexuality. You might be looking at experimenting with something sexually, whether that's by yourself or whether that's with somebody else, doesn't really matter. But it can certainly heat up and amplify the sexual passion, sexual desire at this time as well, and certainly looking for unusual expressions, sort of something you've never tried before, something you've never done before, something a bit unconventional and experimentative in that regard can certainly be on the cards. This is also the house in Vedic astrology to do with inheritances, and by that it could be any it could be a material, monetary inheritance, but it could be a psychic inheritance. Maybe all the women in your family have had psychic abilities and you've missed out and you felt like, oh, I've never, grandma could do it, mum could do it, great grandma, I just can't. Then all of a sudden, boom, here comes this energy and it opens up this new paradigm for you where suddenly you can do it. You can see the dead. You can be a medium. You can channel. You can whatever. This is an energy that can really go poof and open up your psychic activity because that's what this energy does correspond to, but also because this is a house of inheritance, and especially if it runs through your family, this capacity may exhibit. Other inheritances could be an emotional inheritance, your emotional behavior, your material inheritance as well. There could be something shocking, something sudden. They read out grandma's will and you're shocked because she's left you her antique ring and you're like, my God, how fantastic. Something shocking, Uranus energy from an inheritance. There could be a volatile or a bit erratic emotional inheritance too. Like, mum was always a bit edgy with her emotions, and you might find that under this energy you're behaving a bit like your mum emotionally. So that can be a thing as well. This is a house also, Cappies, of career change. It is, after all, the 8th house from you, but it's the 11th house from the 10th. So career change that happens for the good, something sudden, something unexpected, something you didn't see coming can bring you some kind of career change that levels up, that brings you better opportunities. Yes, there might be challenges in the beginning, more responsibility or having to navigate different circumstances, but the ultimate results can be quite positive because this is the 11th house from the 10th, and Uranus here can bring something suddenly changing with career that leads to greater rewards and gains for many of you Capricorns, I'm pleased to say. Thank you, my beautiful Cappies. Moving along to Aquarius. Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, and Aquarius moon people. And I'm going to give everybody an acronym, and it's for our Aquarius, our awesome Aquarians. The energy of Uranus squaring the Sun is being felt in your 7th house, because the Sun in Leo rules the 7th house opposite you. Now, this is obviously to do with your partners. And let me just clarify for all of you out there, if you're single or married, it's any significant other in your life. So a married partner, yes, but maybe it's a business partner, someone you've collaborated with, someone you've gone in on a loan with, somebody that you've renting with even, This is anyone who has a significant role to play in your life. Could be your tennis partner, somebody that you share an important facet of your life with. 7th house. So for our Aquarians, this can mean that all the energy of Uranus square to the Sun is exhibiting not in your personal life, but in the life of the other important people in your life. So unpredictable changes are occurring to your significant other person that are beyond your control. You don't have a say in what's happening to their health, their money, their career, whatever. They're just big change going down. How are they coping? Be there for them, support them. There could even be, for some of you Aquarian people watching this, Sun, Moon or Rising sign, unconventional people that come into your life that might cause some upheaval, that might cause some problem. This is the house of others. This is you. We're talking unconventional, sort of eccentric people who stir the pot. Now, of course, if you're in a partnership and things are going a bit haywire, things are going a bit bizarre, you might be like, oh my God, I want to get out of here. I've had enough of this. I'm sick of this crap, And so some of you, because of the behavior of another person, not because you want to bust out and be free, but because somebody's driving you bonkers, you might want to break free. Break free from a rental agreement. Break free from a marriage, break free from a business partnership. I just encourage you to act with responsibility, deep breaths, act with maturity instead of stubbornness and willfulness, and think carefully before making any decisions about how you're interacting and relating to others now, so that you have less to regret in the long run, because hasty behavior can result in big mistakes being made under this energy. Be aware of that. You might feel, though, that you have a lack of control and that you are at the mercy of your partner's behavior or the partner's situation, whatever that may be, their bad financial situation or their cranky, annoying, characteristics or whatever, that you can't escape it. Well, look, I would just say, Aquarius, if that's the circumstance, do what you can to make changes in your realm. For example, if you're sick of them and their cranky tantrums, say, I'm going for a girls' weekend. I'm grabbing my sister and my mum. We're going to go and have a weekend at a day spa. See you later. Give yourself a break. If it's a financial situation, I don't have all the solutions because I don't know everybody's personal circumstances, of course. But if it's a financial situation, then you might be able to go and say, look, I think we need separate bank accounts, and I'm going to hang on to my money and you're responsible for your money, so let's work out separate budgets and who contributes what, because I can't do this joint thing any longer. So just a couple of examples there might be need for you to, instead of walking away from the situation entirely, there may be some wriggle room for you to get a bit more autonomy, a bit more independence for yourself from your partner in some capacity, so that you can breathe a bit easier, okay? So you don't feel so impeded and so claustrophobic with the level of involvement and control that you might currently have. Also, Aquarius, there might even be opportunity for your consciousness to expand when it comes to the relationship. What do I mean by that? I mean your awareness, your understanding of the relationship. I had a bit of an epiphany moment myself this week as I was thinking about how certain things affect us and affect our behavior. I had this client one time who was really struggling and making some rather poor choices, and she got back to me like a few weeks after I'd done a reading for her and said, I understand now why I was wanting to make this choice and going down this road that wasn't good for me. She said, I've been to a specialist who's told me that my hormones are way out of balance and I'm lacking in this and I'm too strong in that. And so I'm bringing things back into equilibrium now. And because of that, I now can see sense and reason. So I tell you that because awareness and knowledge at a deep level, deeper than just what's going on the surface, is our empowerment. So, when we start to look deeper, when we start to, hunger for awareness and understanding, then we can mitigate often the problems in our life. So that said, this energy of Uranus square to the sun can actually expand our consciousness and expand our awareness, but it'll usually come from some unexpected, erratic sort of area. Like, who knew this woman going to see her specialist would find an answer to her choices in life that were not helping her much? So this is what we're talking about here. Something that you don't expect might bring you some level of new awareness and a growth in consciousness. Some of you might receive a message from spirit from a partner. This is some positive expression of this energy. So somebody might have, when I was in the church years ago, I've got a word for you from God, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Somebody might have a word for you, but it's from the divine, from spirit. So, a message, a prophecy, a psychic download, a channeling. So if somebody comes to you saying that kind of thing, pay attention this week, Aquarius, because this energy can bring that about. Somebody might have seen you in a dream and have to tell you all about it, or get a premonition or something that they want to share. But more than anything, Aquarius, this is a time of change and unconventional behavior, because this person, the seventh house person in your life, wants freedom of some sort. So by understanding that, by saying, look, I see your behavior, I can see how, that you're in a situation where you're feeling frustrated and you want your freedom, let's work this out together. We're a team. How can we find a new level of freedom that feels comfortable and right for you with our circumstances? If you can approach things with that kind of a perspective, you can really navigate this well for the benefit of everyone concerned. I will also mention, Aquarius, if you are in any kind of consulting activity, like if you're an acupuncturist or something like that, or a reflexologist and you've got clients and so on, this energy might see your clients behaving erratically. They've booked in 3 weeks ago and then they cancel at the last moment. There can be some erratic behavior from your clients, from your audience, and just try to roll with that as best you can, Aquarius, knowing it's just the energy, it's not necessarily the person. Roll with it, flow with it. It's not going to last forever. Thank you, my beautiful Aquarians, my awesome Aquarians. Okay, pretty Pisces. Okay, or perfect Pisces. We are looking at the energy that's playing out between fixed sign Taurus and fixed sign Leo. At 27 degrees, you've got Uranus. 27 degrees over here, you've got the sun. And it's expressing through the 6th house. 6th house on the 19th of August. So this is the house of where we struggle and why we struggle. Well, this energy can mean that a lot of our struggles at this point in time for us Pisces is coming because we feel that life is beyond our control. We've got so many problems that need to be fixed. Maybe the plumbing's, giving us some trouble, or and then the bank's knocking on our door, and our child's broken their arm. We've got to go get a cast. There's just problem after problem, 6 houses problems, and we feel a bit suffocated and stuck. Fixed signs, stuck in our problems. Okay, we want freedom. Uranus to the sun wants freedom, wants independence, wants autonomy, wants to break free. The old Queen song, I want to break free. We're restless and we want to do things our way. And particularly Pisces, you're going to feel hungry to do things your way when it comes to the daily routine. Now, I have this constantly, it feels like, in my life. I want to grow my own food. I want to, have my own chickens and get my own eggs. I want to make my own clothes. I don't want to rely on anyone for anything in the everyday, ordinary life existence that I live. Anyone would think I had the sun in my 6th house or something. But this can get us feeling restless and unhappy and stuck. Uranus, we want to break free, and we want our autonomy in our everyday lives, but we are subject to a hard aspect, a square that feels like blockage, that feels like restriction. So this is not an energy that's going to help us easily resolve our problems, and it's not an energy that's going to help us break free without some hurdles to jump over. I hate to say it, Pisces. Sorry to be so negative. Don't worry, I've got some helpful things to share soon. I would also suggest, Pisces, that you could, under this energy, make some hasty decisions before you've really thought things through in order to sort of restructure your life, break free, have more independence, and then you come back later and regret it. Like, for example, let's say you've got a day job that helps you break the bills. You're absolutely sick of having to go to that day job when there's so much that needs doing at home, for example, and you're like, I just can't take it anymore. I'm sick of the time that job takes from my life. I'm chucking it in. And then, 3 weeks later, you're like, oh shit, how am I going to pay the electricity bill this week? So think carefully before you make any big decisions that are going to affect the day-to-day running of your life, and just act with patience, with flow. Go slow and steady, Pisces, before you jump in the deep end. For some Pisces, there could be some unconventional person that's causing a lot of problems in your life, that's creating the problems that I spoke about earlier. People at work as well are seen through the 6th house. They might be acting a bit unpredictable and erratic, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? Everyone's a bit cray-cray today. That can be the case as well. This is a house of court cases. So you might get something happen in regards to a court case that's sort of a bit shocking, a bit out of the blue. You didn't see it coming. They come up with this evidence or their statement against you, and you're like, what the heck? Where did that come from? Uranus is a shock to court cases in the 6th house. It's another way that can express. There might be, this is the relatives of your mother as well, the 6th house. So it could be that your mother's relatives are behaving in sort of stubborn, willful ways that are frustrating to you also, Pisces. That's another expression that this could have. Particularly, I would suggest male relatives as well, because the sun is the energy here. Masculine energy is the sun. So there's some hard work to deal with, Pisces. There could even be, and I'll just come back to my issue that I talked about last week, some issues with the heart or the spine as well, because that's what Leo and the sun rule. So you might be having some back issues. I know I talked about that last week for me. And this energy can be playing into that again. So take it easy. Don't overdo it. I'm back in my seat this week, but I know I've got to just be at a walking steady pace with my health and well-being and not overdo it. A way to channel this energy in the positive is to look for alternative health mechanisms. Maybe see a chiropractor, maybe see an acupuncturist, maybe go to a naturopath, somebody who's an alternative practitioner, maybe a medical astrologer. These sorts of people can bring, Uranus is alternative practitioners, and aspecting the sun in the house of health and well-being. These people can have a lot of answers for you, bring eureka moments, problem solve for you. We talked about problems. We talked about issues. It's through these people, like you've got a challenge, okay? You've got let's say, sore back. So you go to a chiropractor, alternative practitioner, Uranus, healing. There's an answer, but there's a problem to overcome. This is what I'm meaning by the square aspect brings issues to be overcome that lead you to an answer. And in going to the chiropractor, you discover that you haven't been taking care of your posture, and it gives you a heap of new exercises that you can implement for the rest of your life to help your posture remain strong and sound and good. This is what we're talking about. The nutritionist might give you a diet that's going to change everything. The acupuncturist might help teach you to relax, and you're like, I'm having a monthly acupuncture session for the rest of my life. This is so good. Things like that. I would also suggest, as Uranus is coming from the sign of Taurus, and this is about financial imbalances as well, that there might be somebody who can give you some financial advice because you're in a difficult financial spot. Somebody who can help you budget, somebody who can give you their wisdom and insights, but they're likely to be somebody with a bit of an alternative view, not your mainstream banking view, but somebody who has a lot of financial, like left of center financially. On that topic, Pisces, David and I, we love to listen to the YouTube videos of Michael Hudson, and if you're interested in understanding finance and why the world is the way it is, highly recommend listening to Michael Hudson, an economist who is a left of center economist, doesn't follow the Chicago school, but makes far more sense than anybody from the Chicago school ever did. So yeah, check that out if you're interested in understanding and having a bit of intelligence. Leo's sun is intelligence around our worldly, mundane astrology, financial problems. Yes, so solutions can be surprising. Solutions can come from left of field, left of center. Some of you might even receive some sort of psychic download about your health or some wisdom from the divine, because Uranus is a very psychic planet, so that's not uncommon. I would encourage you, Pisces, also get into as I'm doing, get into the magnesium, get into the salts that are going to help with any sort of heart palpitations or spasms that Uranus might be causing because of this. Also, yeah, we're very much open, Pisces, to new paradigms and new realities because of this energy. So it could be that because of this energy you discover, like I've been describing, a new paradigm. Okay, if I eat this food, I'm not going to have this skin issue or whatever. If I, change my conventional approach to saving money and having money, and I approach it from this alternative way, my God, it could change everything. It's a whole new paradigm. So this is what I'm saying. Keep an open mind under this energy for answers and solutions to the imbalances of life, health-wise, financially, in terms of education and knowledge, any kind of adversity, any kind of animosity. Keep open to anything that might come for you from an alternative source, something out of the blue, something shocking as well that you didn't even think might be an option for you. So solutions can come in answer to a problem that you're dealing with, but it's going to come in a way you won't see coming, that you won't expect. This is an Arthur house as well as the 10th house and the second house. It has to do with money. It's basically an earth house. And I just encourage you to perhaps look at your finances, look at your budget, this is the second house from the 5th. So this is about the skills that we can use to create money in our lives. So, if you are struggling financially, think about, you might get divine inspiration or a eureka moment for how you can utilize your skill sets, your creative intelligence, your capacity to generate money for you. This energy could sort of give you that insight, that awareness as well. This is the house of power over enemies. And the thing is with this combination is that it is rather erratic. So it's not necessarily, Pisces, if you're dealing with somebody who's confrontational or difficult and you're trying to harness your own power, then this is an energy that could be a bit erratic. Sun in Leo gives you a great deal of personal power to overcome your enemies. Absolutely. A malefic planet in a malefic house can be very, very empowering. But it's a bit erratic. It's at the moment with this square aspect, it's on again, off again. So one day you go into work and that girl who's just giving you a really hard time at work, you get a one-up on her by, success is the best revenge. You get a fabulous project to work on and she missed out on that one. And then the next day you go into work and she's assigned herself to work on the project with you, and you're like, damn it, you know. So it's a bit erratic in terms of power over enemies, because that's what this house is all about. Court cases can be a bit erratic and so forth as well. But I do feel that in the end you will overcome these problems, Pisces, because the sun is the ruler of the sixth house lord in the sixth house. The power is there eventually to come out on top. So we need to just not make hasty decisions, as I said, not sort of, rush in where angels fear to tread. We need to act with responsibility. We need to, not be too hasty. We need to weigh things up with, wisdom. And then we can make wise choices that help us in the long run. So that would be my suggestion for our lovely pretty Pisces. Perfect Pisces. Okay, I've already used the word awesome, so I have to come up with another word for Aries. Now I'm stuck. Our amazing Aries, rising sun or moon. Well, the energy of Uranus square to the sun at 27 degrees of the fixed sign Taurus and the fixed sign Leo is happening on the 19th of August. And this is going to be playing out through the personal planet in the 5th house. This is actually a very lucky house, a powerful house. Aries. It's the 5th house of good fortune. And this is where you might find that there is some sort of sudden opportunity. But there's going to be an obstacle to overcome first. Maybe a child, this is the house of children, your child gets offered a chance to play. This happened to my best friend, actually. Her son was given the opportunity to play a beautiful pipe organ in the local cathedral and have lessons, exclusive lessons from this the organist at the cathedral in playing this thing. So let's say your child gets a wonderful opportunity for something like that, but there's something that's got to be overcome. Like what a sudden surprising opportunity, a bit left of center. Not everyone gets to play a beautiful pipe organ in a cathedral. Your child, but there's an obstacle to overcome. The obstacle might be, my God, I've got to learn this big massive thing. My feet can barely touch, your child's feet can barely touch the pedals, and there is a challenge. There's some struggle to learn this incredible, dynamic, old instrument. That needs to be dealt with. It's not just going to waltz in there and play it like he was Count Dracula. So I'm trying to, that's just things that come to my mind. Sorry for my crazy stories, but what I'm saying is here there is a challenge, square aspect to some opportunity forming for a child or even a lover in the 5th house. This can also represent lovers or children being stubborn and willful. Okay, your child's got this great opportunity to learn the pipe organ, and they're like, I don't want to, Mum, that's daggy, I'm not going to. And they've been learning piano for years and they're brilliant, and this would be just the most amazing opportunity. But no, Mum, I'm putting my foot down. I hate this. I don't want to do this. And as a parent, you're like, can't you see how fantastic this opportunity is? So there's stubbornness, there's willfulness that might be coming from children or lovers here as well. The 5th house is also to do with romance and dating, and you might be sort of saying to your lover, I really want to do something exciting and new and fresh and different, Uranus energy, let's say, and your lover is saying, no, I'm not doing that, that's crazy, that's stupid, only dumb people do that, and so you don't go for that chicken and champagne breakfast in a hot air balloon. Why they would think that was dumb, I don't know, but that's the first thing that popped into my head. So there is this stubborn willfulness coming from these other people represented by the 5th house that you might be experiencing. If you're a celebrity and you're watching this, there can be problems with people in authority in your sphere. Let's say you're a celebrity on the local TV station and your boss is just being a bit obnoxious, a bit obstructionist, holding you back in some way. So problems with authorities in the life of a celebrity, if that's what you are. Some of you might walk away from a long-held career as well, I would suggest, because this is the 8th house from the 10th, Aries. And this is to break, Uranus is wanting to break free, feeling stuck, not being tied to the status quo, wanting independence and autonomy in a very autonomous house. And you're a very autonomous fire sign, Aries. There can be an energy of wanting to break free from a career that's holding you back in some way because you're impatient, you want to do things your way, and you're feeling restless. Well, be forewarned, forearmed, Aries, you may regret it in the long run. It's better to act, not just bowl in and just make a wild decision. It's better to act with patience, with caution, and be careful about the decisions you make, before you regret what you do. So forewarned, forearmed there. For some of you, Aries people who are not big celebrities or well known or have a big reputation in the world, there might be some sudden opportunity that comes to you to do this. I do know one Aries person who may even have this opportunity in the next week or so, actually, to be known, to be seen, to become a celebrity of sorts on an internet basis. We're talking about too, but there's an obstacle to overcome, Aries. It may be there's work to be done. Square aspects actually carry a lot of the nature of Saturn. And what's Saturn? Hard work. There's hard work that you've got to do to become this celebrity. For some of you Aries people, means not just expecting it's going to land in your lap. You have to do the hard yards. So be aware of that as well. If you do have an opportunity that's available to you, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty to make it happen. In terms of career, also career change, also moving into celebrity. And I would also suggest that there might be some hard work involved in using your creative intelligence as well. Just expecting that if you do a few paintings, the local art gallery is going to give you an exhibition space might be a bit audacious of you. Maybe you need to sort of spend some time doing the networking thing and liaising with people and schmoozing some authority figure to give you some art space for your exhibition that you want to do. For example, there's work to be done regarding some form of creative expression. So don't get lazy, Leo. This hard aspect can mean there's opportunities, but there's work at the same time that's required. The fifth house is one of the houses, Aries, of karmic reward. So there could be some surprising and unexpected karmic reward waiting for you as a result of this energy. Like I said, there might be some work that needs to be done to get it. So it could be surprising, could be shocking, but you might need to jump a few hurdles to receive the blessing. That's really all I'm getting for our Aries rising sun or moon people with this combination, but it's an exciting one, and it's not as challenging as some of the other signs have got. So, lucky Aries, awesome Aries, amazing Aries. Okay, Taurus, terrific Taurus rising, Taurus sun, Taurus moon people. Well, for our Taurians, the energy on the 19th of August between fixed sign Uranus at 27 degrees to fixed sign Sun in Leo at 27 degrees is what is playing out and what we're talking about here. And it's expressing through the fourth house. So this could be affecting a mother or a mother figure where mum starts behaving erratically, or mum starts getting involved in esoterica and going in deep with it. Like she just goes overboard. Crazy mum, she's fully into astrology. She's signed up for Kesenya's astrology course. She's buying every book under the sun. You're like, mum, slow down there with the astrology, Why would we ever say that? I don't think we would. But basically what I'm saying is Uranus to the house of the mother, the expression is that mum can go a little bit bonkers in some way or another. So check in on your mum, make sure mum's doing okay, make sure that she's, emotionally, being cared for, and everything's all right with mum. This is an energy that will pass. It's not going to be permanently that way. Mum might also feel a little bit stuck in a rut, a little bit tied down to the status quo and just want to break free. And that can also be the same for you, Taurus. You might be like, I am sick of life being this way. Emotionally, I feel so confined, so restricted. I just want change. and you're restless, you're impatient, you want things to go your way. So on an emotional level, you might be feeling heavy in that regard. So I share that so that you will have some strategies up your sleeve to make necessary change. You know, what helps you feel lighter emotionally? What things do you do that set you free and help you feel a little bit more expansive and less constricted? Well, think about those things. Maybe write a list of those things so that you're ready for this really full on. You can see the board's crazy with all, aspects being formed. It's going to be crazy on the 19th of August. Have something up your sleeve to help you carry those wild emotions that might come up. Stubborn emotions, willful emotions, I'm not saying go hide in the bed and pull the covers over your head, but I am saying be forewarned, forearmed. Don't go making big decisions based on emotion at this time either, because it can be something that you end up regretting, because our emotions are so stretched, Taurus, when the emphasis like this is on the fourth house of emotion. Our emotions are sort of taken to an extreme and we feel like the rubber band's been pulled tight and we're about to snap, So how can you soothe your emotions? Go for a walk, spend time in nature, be grounded, listen to some good music, whatever works for you. If we act with responsibility, something that a lot of Taurians are very good at actually, you end up having less regret under this influence. Also, I would just check in on the dynamic of the relationship you have with your mother. This is a combination that can cause strain with a mother, harsh words or judgmentalism, a sense of Mum, you're too interfering in my life and I just wish you'd bugger off kind of energy. So do try not to tread on anyone's toes, Taurus. You don't usually incline yourself that way, I know, but we need to be careful because Mum's a bit sensitized and this is an energy for tension between you and your mother, even if you don't, consciously intend it. So forewarned, forearmed again with that one. Mum might have some psychic downloads though for you, some level of awareness that she can bring to your life. So, have an open ear to what Mum is experiencing and has to say, of course. Our consciousness can expand through this square aspect, but usually through some sort of unusual experience that we have with a family member or in our home. So something weird could occur in your home. Fourth house is your home environment, your domestic life. Something weird could happen. Something, I'm just trying to think of an example. Could be a little bit, bit ghostly, could be a little bit otherworldly that happens in your home, or could be something that you instigate as well, Taurus. Maybe you do a little ceremony in your home, or you set up a little, altar of some sort where you like to pray in the mornings or whatever. You do something in your home that's a bit spiritual, a bit psychic, a bit metaphysical. And you notice that something changes really significantly because of that. Some experience in your home, some area of your home that you've put new energy into can really cause a growth in consciousness and an expanding of awareness. So on that topic, Taurus, it's really good for us, I think, at the moment to be looking at breaking generational curses. And one of my girlfriends and I have been talking about this week. Fourth house has to do with, this has just popped into my mind, so I know it's for somebody out there, but fourth house is our heritage, our roots, and our lineage, our genetic heritage, our ancestry. And Uranus square here is telling me that there is somebody listening to this has there's a restriction and a blockage, because that's a square aspect, is a block, to coming from their ancestry, their probably maternal line, but could even be paternal line as well. Maybe there was some curse put on the family, and by curse we think about childhood witchy stories. It's not like that. By watching television, we are opening ourselves up to a spell being put on us because we are told by the television there's a recession. Some people are doing really well at the moment and financially in abundance at the moment, and yet we're told on the television recession, and then our mind aligns with that spell. And we see lack everywhere, we see struggle everywhere, and we have succumbed to a spell. So when I say curses and spells, and I've gone off on a tangent, and I'm sorry about that, Taurus, but when I say those sorts of things, I'm not talking witchy woo-woo. I'm talking the reality of life, Witchy woo-woo stuff, like, that's a small minority of the world that functions in that. And yet we are living in a spiritual paradigm, a spiritual life where blessings and curses are upon us all the time. And we have to guard, this is biblical, we have to guard our hearts and fill our mind with everything that is pure and lovely and good and kind, so that we don't open ourselves up to the curses, and we actually open ourselves up to receiving the blessings. So now that I've done a little sermon on that, here in this house of generational, there might have been, let's say, grandma and grandpa had a poverty mindset. Mum and dad had a poverty mindset. You've inherited a poverty mindset. You need to break that curse. It is not your karma to have that curse upon you. And that could be anything. I'm talking about poverty. I'm talking about poverty mindset. I'm talking about, health mindset. I'm talking about relationship mindsets. There could be certain paradigms that you have been subjected to your whole life, and here comes this energy saying, break free, say no to that poverty mindset or the poverty karma. It's not your karma, it's not your destiny. Say no to that health karma, say no to that relationship karma. It is not your destiny. You have power. You can break free from those things, Taurus. We all can. We all need to be doing this. I should have spoken this for everybody, but anyhow, you're the lucky ones, Taurus, that have got this message. You have the power to break this paradigm now, and this energy is here to help you. But there is, like, you might be feeling a spiritual block, an emotional block, a relationship block, a financial block. Square aspect is block. What you need to do is take action yourself to change that, to break that. So one of the things I've been saying for everybody with this aspect is that this is an energy that can open us up to new paradigms and new realities, which is exactly what I'm talking about. You break that paradigm of poverty mentality, for example, you open yourself up to a whole new paradigm of abundance and prosperity. We have the power through conscious awareness and knowledge and intent to say no. So I encourage you, Taurus, get on that bandwagon. This is not a house of curses, but it's the generational influence. You can break that. You can break that here. And I encourage you to do so. Utilize this energy for good. Okay, I think that's probably covered almost enough here. Very, very powerful message for our Taurus friends. I'm glad that came to me to share with you, because I know there's people out there listening to this who that message is for. Thank you, terrific Taurus. Okay, gorgeous Gemini. I sound like Horrible Histories, don't I? Those of us in Commonwealth countries know Horrible Histories. Best history show ever. I still love watching it. It's a kids show. It is awesome. And particularly I think Geminis would actually really enjoy it. But they've always got gorgeous Greeks or horrible whatever, horrible histories, but terrible tutors and so on and so on. But we've got gorgeous Geminis here. And the energy, off on a tangent, the energy that's playing out, Gemini, on the 19th of August, one of the energies on this very volatile day that we are exploring personally is the energy that's playing out in a square from 27 degrees of fixed sign Taurus Uranus to 27 degrees of fixed sign Leo Sun. This square aspect is going to bring sudden, unpredictable changes that are beyond your control in the third house realm, Gemini. Third house is siblings. So it could be that your siblings are struggling with some unpredictable changes that are out of their control, or your siblings are behaving unconventionally and desiring independence, wanting to break free, and you're noticing that your siblings are being more restless and sort of sticking it to the man and, chucking their jobs in and whatever. Be there for them. Perhaps you could even advise them, Gemini, to sort of take things slow. Don't be willful. Don't be stubborn. Act with responsibility. If you can advise them as such, then they hopefully won't make mistakes that they end up regretting in the long term, because hasty behavior, because of this energy, can result in things that we regret doing. down the track. This is the realm of the chart that has to do with localized trips and, you know, having a day out and movement. So I encourage you, Geminis, yourself to get out there, go for a jog or a walk in nature, go for a drive, do a hike or something, bike ride, you know, get moving to help mitigate the frustrated, boxed in energy that this will create on the 19th of August. You know, get moving, get the energy cycling, like moving, not cycling, pedaling, but, you know, cycling in, it comes in and it goes out, comes in and goes out. You know, get the energy moving, Gemini. It will help you cope with this feeling of frustration, feeling of restriction and wanting to break free that you might be exposed to as well. We're more restless, more impatient with this square aspect. So, yeah, if you have a small business, it could be in that realm that you're feeling frustrated and blocked and irritated as well, because the third house is small business. I'm just going to say, don't throw in that side hustle. Don't throw in that business or that particular talent or skill you've been honing. You know, this is a passing energy. Just, you know, endure, be stoic about it, push through this energy so you don't regret chucking in the towel down the track. So Gemini, the more that you can just push through and endure, the better off you're going to be in the long run. Some of you Gemini people might be receiving some sort of messages from the divine. Why? Because this is the house of messages to spirit. There's a couple of houses that do that, and this is one of them. And of course, here's Uranus over in the fourth house of ancestors, you know, spirit guides, angels, sending you a square aspect. Now, I would suggest, because the aspect is square, that it could be a bit of a hard message to receive, you know. Maybe your spirit guide comes to you and just lays on your heart some message. You need to tell your sister to back off, leave mum alone, not get so involved in mum's affairs. And you're like, how do I step in? My sister's really wild and erratic and, oh, you know, how am I going to tell her? Message from spirit that's hard to respond to, hard to implement. So there can be some messages coming now. I want you to listen to them. I want you to sit with them. If you feel it's right, I want you to take action with them, because, you know, we shouldn't ignore divine messages that we know are from a good source, you know, that we know is real. For example, giving a message to your sister to get her fingers out of mum's pie can be hard to do, to tell your sister to do that, but you know it's the right thing to do. You'll know in your heart, you know, Leo, Sun, heart energy. You'll know in your heart what message is the right one to share and what message you just need to ignore. Okay? What else can I tell you about this combination? Well, this in Vedic astrology is one of the houses of writing and music. And the Sun is very creatively intelligent in Leo, is very strong, actually. So, and of course, again, Uranus, you might be getting, you know, downloads, psychic downloads for some sort of music, score, or poetry or literature or something that you are inspired to write. Don't ignore those things. Carry a little, like I've got my little journal here with me that I carry around everywhere. This is what you need to have, something like this to help, you know, like to, I mean, if you're old school and like writing by hand like I do, then having that on hand is good. Or maybe you've got an iPad or something like that you can use. But divine inspiration is what might happen here, to write something musical. You know, you might even hear some music that just lifts your soul, you know, that you're just encouraged by. Remember, it's a square aspect, so there's a challenge. You might be in a shop, you don't have Shazam on your phone, and you hear this song and you're like, oh my God, this is the best song I've ever heard. What is this song? You ask the clerk and they're like, I've got no idea. And then you spend, you know, the next 6 months hunting for whatever that song was that you heard in the jewelry shop that day. This is, there's a frustration element here, be aware, but it is one of the houses of writing and music. So this could happen for some of you Gemini people. It's also a house in Vedic astrology of excitement and enthusiasm. And this energy can be really activating for that. Just be careful that it's not sort of misguided or misdirected. Like you're all G'd up about some new business you're going to start and you're telling everybody all about it, and before you've even done your due diligence and figured out, income, outcome, income, expenses, and what you're likely to make, and sort of before you've weighed it all up, you're just getting over the top with the potential and not seeing the pitfalls. For example, the square aspect can mean full on energy, erratic energy, and not having a very realistic, grounded approach. So be aware of that as well. I think that's about it. Oh, neighbours as well as a third house energy. My beautiful Geminis, just check in with your neighbours. Make sure they're doing okay. That's if you get along with them. You might have nothing to do with your neighbours. But neighbours are seen here, and this energy can mean things are, maybe they're having trouble with their electrics or their gadgets. If you know about those sorts of things, Gemini, maybe you can help them out. Maybe, Jack next door doesn't know how to work his iPad and you know how to set it up for him, so you give him a hand. Just check in with neighbours at this time. Make sure all their, for example, the electricity cable coming from the street is all A-OK, because Uranus is electricity, this is neighbours, and you don't want any disasters, electrical disasters happening to your neighbours, because it could affect you in the long run. So just, if you're walking down the street, just check, the electrical cable, yep, that looks good, we're fine. With your neighbours and your street in general, your local area. Electricity, Uranus, local area, third house, square aspect to the sun, just make sure everything's okay. Thank you, gorgeous Geminis. And finally, to our lucky last clever, let's call them clever Cancers. Thank you for waiting till last, my beautiful Cancer friends. We are looking this week at the energy at 27 degrees of fixed sign Taurus and 27 degrees of fixed sign Leo. Uranus to the sun square on the 19th of August, exhibiting through your second house. Cancer, I want you to be careful with your money this week. There's plenty of other activity going on as well. Like, it's wild this week, just wild. But this energy is a very strong one, and it's playing out in your second house of budget and finance. And this is an energy for sudden, unpredictable changes that are beyond your control. So you might be a Cancer person, and many Cancer people are, who have their own business. You're out there doing your business and you're getting no customers, you're getting no clients. Oh my God, what's happening? What's gone wrong? This is something sudden and unpredictable that's out of your control, and the money's not coming in. It's not a forever circumstance, it's just a momentary passing energy, but it could mean that you've got to really tighten your belt this week, for example. So sudden, unpredictable changes financially that are out of your control. Unconventional people causing problems financially in your life. You go in to speak to the bank manager and they're behaving really weird, really erratically, and you're like, I don't know if I can sort of get my point across here with this bank manager regarding this loan that I need or this circumstance that I'm trying to address. People behaving unconventionally, and the people that we see in the second house are people who manage money. Particularly bank managers are seen for the second house. So they could be causing some upheavals and problems as well. This is also the house of the face, the teeth, the eyes, the hearing, all the five senses, touch, taste, sight, sound, smell. That's seen through the second house. So there could be some unexpected problems playing out in that realm of life. I would also suggest particularly your hair. Cancer, just, check your hair, make sure everything's okay, You might have a bit of psoriasis popping up if you're prone to that, and that kind of thing. Because the sun and Leo, lion's mane, it's hair. People, conventionally won't tell you that. They'll say hair is seen from the second house, and it is, but Leo you can tell a Leo because look at their hair. I can think of one particular astrologer whose videos are fabulous online. I'm not critical, but her hair is a dead giveaway of her astrological sign. So what we're looking at here is hair, second house, and Leo, sun, hair energy. So there could be some change in your hair that's beyond your control, you know. You've got psoriasis, that's affecting your scalp. Maybe hair's falling out, or maybe your hair starts going grey, or maybe something might be happening to your hair. But also, as I said before, the sensory expressions, teeth, sight, sound, smell, blah, blah, blah. You might be noticing something unconventional happening with those things in the body. There's also, just to move away from the physical expression, but there might also be a really strong momentum and energy in you, Cancer, where you are just craving independence financially, financial independence. Don't we all wish we had it? Don't we all long for it? And don't the powers that be try and prevent it at every turn? On my little bandwagon here for just a moment, you know, there was a push, you know, in my early married life when I first got my first husband and I, there was a big push for environmental sustainability then, and I love that concept. I love that idea, but how hard is it, my friends, to actually be sustainable? You know, to have a property, to grow your own food, to have your own electricity and water. They make it impossible. You know, you've got rates to pay. So you've got to have a job off the land to be able to pay the rates, because, you know, you might be able to produce enough food for yourself on your little 5-acre block, but it's not enough to make money to pay the rates. So you're damned that way. They're going to charge you for water. They're going to charge you to put a dam on your property. They're going to charge you to, you know, not so much for electricity, but it's hard to find electricity that can be stored. There are just problems galore and expenses galore. It is so expensive to set yourself up for sustainability. And yet, Cancer, it is something that we all crave. You know, we want this independence from the system so that we can be free. And you might find that this week it just frustrates the eyeballs out of you that you cannot break free from the system in a sustainable manner to do things your own way. You know, you've wanted to grow your own fruit for ages, but you go out to pick all the apricots off your tree and they're riddled with fruit fly, and you are frustrated. This is what we're talking about. You know, you want to stew your own peaches, and oh my God, you know, the powers that be, there is just a frustrating blockage that you didn't expect, that you didn't see coming, and you can't do your peaches. You know, maybe your battery operated, or sorry, your solar panel storage is not working, and you have no electricity to run the steamer that's going to help you preserve your peaches. So talking about sustainable lifestyles, there is frustration coming from electricity, maybe Uranus, to being able to have that sustainable life. But so I could go on and on with a million different examples. This is an energy for problems in being able to be financially independent, sustainably independent, and you are just had it with the obstacles to that happening in your life, Cancer. So have some strategies, Cancer, to mitigate that. You know, you might be feeling so frustrated that you just chuck the towel in. You know, this sustainable, you know, growing my own fruits and veggies and whatever, I'm sick of it because it's just impossible, and I'm walking away. And you might regret that, you know, 6 months later, you're like, damn it, I wish I still had my chooks and hadn't sold them, you know, whatever. This is an energy where we can just chuck in the towel because the frustration is too much, and then we regret it. So I encourage you, be slow with your decision making. Think carefully before making any big decisions about your money, about your lifestyle. Hasty behavior can result in regrets. So be conscious of that. I would suggest that, like, you have a lot of creative intelligence, Cancer, with money. You really, really do. You've got Leo in the second house. That brings really creative intelligence of how to solve financial problems and how to manage money and resources. You're good at that. I would suggest, though, because of this energy, that you might have to revise things a bit. Maybe look at a budget, look at how you're spending money, look at your inventory for life and how it supports your body, and maybe make changes when necessary. This is an energy about change. It is an energy that says it's time for change. Change can be frustrating, though, but it's time for some change to help you feel more free. And the reason that we feel this frustration with not being able to be autonomous and not being able to be as free as we would like is because there may be some things that you need to address to make appropriate change to be fully free. And the frustrations are there to alert you to that fact. Everything does have a purpose astrologically. So let me give an example. You are so frustrated because you've been trying to do it all. Let's say that you've been trying to grow your own wheat and corn, and you've got chooks and you've got pigs and you've got the whole sustainable lifestyle shebang going on, and you're exhausted because you've also got to have a day job too to pay what you've got to pay in the world. So what do? You decide, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to chuck it all in. I'm going to go and find other people and create community so that we can do this. Because I need someone else to do the pigs. I need somebody else to grow the veggies. I'll do the fruit. I can do the fruit. Yep. And I can even keep some chooks. But someone can do the pigs. Someone can do grow the wheat and the corn. If someone can do the dairy, if someone, then we can have a collective, we can have a community farm sort of thing going, and then we can be truly free. So I use that as an example, but it can apply to, and I've used the sustainable lifestyle example because I ran with that. But let me just say, it could be anything. Something happens and your frustration leads you to look at things from a different perspective and find creative solutions with money, with resources, with the values that you have and how you're going to obtain the lifestyle you want. You might value living organically, so how are you going to obtain that? How are you going to live that? How are you going to do that? What this energy does is causes a frustration that opens us up to new paradigms, new realities, new options. And so you might be very surprised and shocked at the change that is available to you and the options that can present themselves if you think creatively, Leo Sun, for solutions. So I hope that helps you, Cancer people, Cancer rising, Sun or Moon people. It's what was coming to me. So that message may be for just one person, may be for many people, or hopefully it has some relevance. But I want to thank you for sticking with me for this big astro weather report. Thank you for being here every week. May you all be blessed.